Are these the same cameras from 368?
Yeah,
too?
these are them. The
Damn.
Lumixes. I think they say one says Gabe on it, and the other
That's
one.
so sick. Oh yeah. Yours is Gabe's camera.
Yeah, and yours is. Bijan's.
I don't know who is that.
I don't remember now. It's been
Dude,
a minute.
GH5 is a legendary camera.
They're cool, right? And I got
Yeah.
them for Paul gave me like a great discount because they were trying to get rid of everything.
Yeah, I remember you looking at these cameras, and
Yeah.
I was super hyped because they're fucking great cameras. That's what I've shot a lot of my early film reel on a GH5.
Really?
Yeah.
They've been ideal, especially for this because it's it's simple, it's pretty controlled.
Right. They're small.
Yeah, they're small. They're just great. They're super reliable. Everything's I don't know. They're just awesome. They're the only ones I use now. I have a Sony A7S II also, but I never use it
Oh, nice.
because I don't really shoot things anymore other than this, And I didn't want to shoot with two different cameras because I'm not a
It's too
genius with
annoying.
the technical part.
I feel like with some newer cameras, it makes it a lot easier.
Oh,
with
yeah.
But with the old cameras, especially like the A7S II, it has a totally different color science than
Yeah.
Panasonic. It would be a pain in the ass.
They're confusing. And I used to have a Canon 5D Mark II.
Oh, nice.
When that one was first out, and I loved it. But then
They got beat out.
they had like not the SD cards, but the CF cards, like the big ones. That was really annoying because then I couldn't use them on like anything else.
Yeah.
So then I ended up getting the Sony, and then because of that, all my lenses didn't fit anymore, so I had to get one of those Metabones
my
adapters,
God. Yeah.
and that thing sucked.
Dude,
autofocus.
ass.
What?
I said like total ass. That
yeah.
thing totally ruined the camera.
It was terrible, and so I ended up getting a Sony lens and then just not using the other lenses for a while.
I feel like the Canon still really excels in they have great photo cameras, but their video cameras are just not as they're becoming less and less relevant. Sony finally reached a point where their video cameras are just amazing now.
Sony?
Yeah, Sony.
Yeah, dude, they're so good.
They're
so
so
good in
good.
low light. They're so easy. You can like really trim your lighting equipment back
Oh yeah,
when you're using them, especially like outdoors.
exactly.
You
I mean,
know?
for a while, like the GH5, around the time that these cameras came out, this was better than the A7 series.
Oh yeah.
Like in terms of color, and like it also has like really good frame rate options for slow motion and stuff. So at
These?
that time, yeah, these are like,
never used these for slow motion.
dude, the slow motion is phenomenal.
What's it go to?
Like 120 at 4K, I'm pretty sure.
Yo, that's better than my phone. I think.
Yeah, it could be. It might be only in like 24 FPS if you're gonna shoot 60 or 120 might only be 1080.
Oh yeah.
No, I think it is 4K, and then once you can go up to like 180 at 1080p or something insane.
That's so crazy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to.
It's really fun.
Hawk loogies in
Oh,
slow
yeah.
motion off the. We have started, by the way. So
Oh hell yeah! Nice.
I before we get totally into camera
Oh yeah,
talk,
we should do like a little intro.
well, we should
situation.
definitely. Yeah, most people probably don't know who you are, although I'm sure many people do now. 'Cause
No, I would say
you're a
most people
director.
don't. I would say no one does.
Maybe. Hello, Davey. This
What's
is
up?
Davey Robinson, a very, very, very talented director, cinematographer, poet. In your
Thanks, man.
downtime. But yeah, tell everyone a little bit about like yourself and what you do now, and then we'll go deeper into all of it.
How do you like to address each other the whole time, or should I ever look at the camera? Like, what's your style normally?
Oh, you could just talk to me. I mean, if you ever want to say hi to the people, but we're just chilling.
Okay,
like,
cool.
It's just a hangout.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Davey. I'm a filmmaker, I guess. We've known each other a long time, but for the cameras, I'm Davey. I'm a rural boy. I'm from West Virginia originally, but I moved to New York like 4 years ago. One of the best decisions I've ever made.
Hell yeah.
So many cool people here, man.
Oh yeah.
So incredibly immersed in creativity, and from 368 I met so many amazing people, and it's been fucking awesome for the filmmaking journey.
Hell yeah, man. Did you move to New York for work, or did you just come and hope to get work?
Yeah, I moved here really just to pursue film, because at the time, I was driving up here all the time from West Virginia, which is like 7 or 8 hours. Me and my boy Mikey, which you
Yeah,
met,
yeah.
yeah, Mikey.
You guys still work together on everything.
Yeah, we work together on all kinds of stuff still. But Mikey, he moved up here first. Like we were coming up here for maybe like I would say like a solid year, and we were getting so much work that we started to entertain the idea of moving to New York. And it seemed kind of insane coming from West Virginia to New York, especially without like, a huge mission or anything necessarily. Like we just, we were working up here a lot, but it felt like a massive step.
Yeah.
And I didn't really love New York before moving here too. I was kind of not even just intimidated by it, but I just didn't really understand the lifestyle. I think like when you visit New York versus live in New York, it's like a totally different experience. And I think outsiders always think of New York as Times Square.
Yeah, dude. Real New Yorkers don't even go to Times Square.
No, hell no, absolutely
I haven't
not.
been there in a long time.
And even Brooklyn, my Brooklyn experience, I just I didn't know that people were so fucking nice. I had no idea how like the community here is just so incredible. And so before moving to New York, me and Mikey were just kind of like intimidated by it, I think. And we just kept getting so much work. We were getting a lot of music videos at the time. Some commercial stuff, but mostly music videos. And we just decided like, dude, let's just go for it.
Who was the first like music video work that you started doing here?
We started let me think the first one we did. Mikey worked on something in Virginia. I think it was a Lil Wayne video he did a assistant editing on or something like that.
Sick.
He had like a very small part of that, and then he did this other video. And we met this guy named Shomi Patwari. Yeah, you've met Shomi before at 368, I think. But through Shomi, he sort of saw like a lot of potential in us doing like some kind of lower end music videos. And so we did. I'm blanking on like the first video we really did up here, but we did a whole bunch of like little, like very small scale music videos, but it was just enough work to get us here more often.
Yeah.
And so we started coming up here and doing a lot of like very small music videos, and it kind of started to land us bigger and bigger jobs. And with each week, I would continue to see like an increase in scale.
With each week?
Yeah, with each week.
Damn, that's fast.
It was a really weird time because it was post-COVID. Music videos were happening left and right. And it was kind of a strange sort of time for the film industry, because there are so many people that had been doing music videos for like 10, 15 years that weren't really taking jobs because they felt like the pay was too low. So they were kind of like snobby about it.
Priced themselves out of the market.
Yeah, and they didn't want to take the work because they're like, that's a shit rate. I'm not doing that. And then the label still had enough money to hire people. Like they still had budgets, just really small ones. Yeah. And me and Mikey were just like, dude, let's
big enough for me.
Well, yeah, I don't care about the money. I'm doing this because I love it. And I saw it as a really big opportunity to just continue to work and get better. It's just putting in reps, So me and Mikey were just doing tons of music videos all the time, and it led to being able to do some small commercial work. We were like camera operators on some bigger commercials and stuff. Like we did this thing for Facebook pretty early on.
Oh, sick.
And it's a really big client, but we weren't like DPing the whole thing. We DP'd one section of it, but the rest was just camera operating and stuff. But it just continued to like build the resume.
Yeah.
And we had some big celebrities in that video, like DJ Khaled and Timbaland and stuff.
They were just in for Facebook.
Yeah, for Facebook.
That's sick.
And what I started to notice is like, if I put these people's faces on my Instagram, and I just sort of push this workout that has like celebrities in it. It felt so gross at the time, because for me, I wanted to push my art and say, oh my God, look at this avant-garde film, this short film that I made. But truly, what people were responding to were the celebrities. And so I quickly realized, like, whoa, this is an avenue if I continue to do music videos, it's going to get me bigger music videos, and those music videos with, you know, these celebrities that people know are going to give me more work, and hopefully I can sidestep into narrative eventually.
Huh.
So that was kind of the direction I had when I first moved here. Is I just kept telling Mikey, like, dude, if we just keep getting these bigger and bigger music videos, like, I swear this is going to leverage us eventually.
Yeah, I watched. I'm so like not part of the rap world.
Oh,
So you
no,
have
it's
to tell
okay.
me. What's his name? Armani White.
Oh, yeah, Armani White.
Because you did a couple of his, right?
Oh, yeah, he was Armani. He was kind of he's a really interesting one to me because when we first worked with Armani on it was for the song that he did called Billie Eilish, and it was a song that at the time it was blowing up on TikTok and stuff on a smaller level, but nothing crazy yet. And when he approached us, it was like a pretty small budget video.
Huh.
We spent me and Mikey both were like huge fans of taking the music video budget and just putting it entirely on the screen, and we would not really pay ourselves very much. Which obviously it hurt to like not have the money for rent and stuff, but we were just always investing in ourselves, and we just tried as hard as we could with this video. We like remade a bunch of the singer Billie Eilish. We remade a bunch of her music videos to sort of pay homage to her.
That's
And
so crazy.
it was a fun process, like working with Armani, but then I didn't expect at the time, like, Armani's a really talented guy, but I had no idea that the song was going to blow up so big.
Yeah.
So when it became like this huge, like, viral hit, it went from being this cool thing that we were definitely proud of, but we didn't know it was going to like go anywhere necessarily, to then it was getting like, you know, tens of millions of views.
Yeah, and it's your work.
And it's our
you're
work,
like,
and we're like, whoa,
literally says
this is
directed by.
holy shit, this is crazy. You know, I didn't
That's
expect it to
wild.
go so viral. And so that was sort of a string of events. That was the first video we did with him, and then we did a bunch. I've done like maybe 5 videos for Armani now.
I saw one. It's called Goated. Is that right?
Oh yeah, Goated with Denzel
Dude.
Curry.
How'd you get so many goats?
Oh,
in
you
that
know,
video?
it was funny in Philly. There's a society that they're like it's like a volunteer place that they take in goats, and their whole entire thing is goats. So they bring them to schools
Wow.
and to different events, and they basically take care of these goats. And I called them. I was like, hey guys, like, would you be down to bring these goats out and put them in a music video? And they said like, oh yeah, like 100%. And I just threw them some money for
That's
their
fun.
for their organization and stuff, and they just brought out all the goats. And then, you know, in VFX we had one of them like talking, saying the line, like, goated. It's just honestly so stupid and like on the nose, but
I mean, it's just that video is it's so fun to me because it's like everyone I watch is so narratively, it's like so interesting. And I was curious how you go about like the process of conceptualizing the video. Like, is it as much you as it is the artist?
yeah, you know, it's honestly, I think it varies how involved I am with the artist, like for music videos, because sometimes a music artist will come in and they won't really know what's going on. Like their management has been communicating with me, and they show up and they say, okay, like, what am I doing? Which is, it can be good and bad. I usually, honestly, my favorite is when the artist is a bit more involved. Like Armani White is a really creative guy. He's funny. He's fun to be around. And he comes up with a lot of ideas, and we brainstorm together.
Oh, cool.
And if I say something to him and he's like, nah, that's ass, like, we're not doing that, then I'll say, okay, cool, let's try this then. And then he'll say something that I think is really funny or a great idea, and we'll do his idea. And then he'll say something, I'm like, nah, that's not it.
Yeah,
Not the movie. So, and we have a great relationship where we can really truly collaborate and make like a sort of great narrative string of events that happen. Like a lot of Armani's videos have sort of narrative purpose. Early on, he was a lot more involved, where, you know, he had less on his plate, so he could be more involved in the videos. And then as he became sort of a more famous artist, he couldn't be as involved anymore. And then I completely took control and just brought it to him. said, what do you think of this? What do you think of this?
So what, he sends you a song and then you like come up with a full vision,
Yeah, exactly.
storyboard and everything, and then you're like, all right, this is it.
Exactly.
Until you want to change it.
So Armani, like for example, like for Billie Eilish, he wanted to recreate her videos. Like that was his whole, because this whole song was about Billie Eilish. So he's like, let's do a recreation video. I said, okay, cool. And me and Mikey brainstormed with him, and like we came up with all these like bits and pieces of her videos of how we could do it on a budget. Because her videos, some of her videos, you're looking at like, a couple $100,000 budget on some of this stuff, and we were working with peanuts. So we're like, okay, how are we gonna do this on a budget? So we, there were a couple kind of janky things we did, guerrilla filmmaking stuff.
Like what?
Like one of them was so in the video of her, I'm blanking on the name right now, but the video where she's like crying the black tears and she's in like the white void, they did a pretty cool effect where they had like a tube that had real liquid that's like pouring down her face, and then they removed the tube in post-production, so it's like a real practical effect.
Wow. What, it's like coming like right down
it's
the
like
crux
coming
of her nose?
Yeah, exactly, it's like coming down her nose.
Whoa.
And that's not too expensive to do necessarily, but it was just hard to pull off with our resources, and also really timing too. So a lot of that we just did VFX, just trying as hard as we could. Me, Mikey, my boy Keats, we were just trying to like recreate that. And even that studio in general, like, there's some in her video, there's some really like, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but really high-end camera movement and stuff. And for us, like, we were in a janky studio with no lights or anything. We had to bring all of our own stuff in, and like shooting all these scenes in one day is pretty, like, you got to be pretty scrappy.
Oh, so, yeah. And do you have like a second team like setting up the next shot while you're shooting the current one?
Sometimes, like for Goated, we did a lot of that in the same location, so I was able to like sort of pre-light the next scene while we were shooting this scene.
Okay.
But for the Billie Eilish video, we were like all over the place. We were driving around all over Jersey and New York, just like doing a lot of locations in one day, so it was a bit more chaotic, but yeah, that was all, like, I would say, to tie back in like the artist involvement thing. Like for Armani, he was a bit more involved there, but then in the most recent one I did for him called Cut the Lights, that one was a lot more of me just creatively coming up with like a narrative sort of direction of
that's
where we're
going to go. That's the one that starts
go.
with the seizure warning in the beginning?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You're like going down the hallway and the lights are flickering.
Yeah. So that one was like, I had, he had a couple of themes that we had brainstormed together for his album. It was all about like, a ghost in his house and sort of like this sort of spooky theme throughout his whole album. So I wanted to just illustrate that the best way I could, which is like, we had a lot of different motifs that we had written together for the album, like some of these like sort of spooky themes, but I wanted to show like a lot of like flashes of a sort of different like ghost Armani. There's like this character that appears in his videos. We had all these like little ideas that I tried to incorporate in this video, but I also just wanted to try just fun visual eye candy. Yeah, because that's I think the biggest purpose of a music video is like it should just be entertaining at the end of the day. It should be fun. It should be pretty.
It's like the wrapping on the music, like the wrapping paper.
Yeah, exactly.
On the song.
And my friend Jacoby, he's a really, really creative visionary. He's so fun to work with, and he runs the Eye Candy page. I don't know if you've seen the page it's called Eye Candy, and it's like a beautiful curation page that has like all these different commercials and music videos and narrative work.
Oh, cool.
And
I feel like I know this page. I feel like I follow it.
Oh yeah, it's a really cool page. Jacoby's done a really good job over the years of running this page and sort of highlighting the most beautiful work in the world.
That's so cool.
But I was working with him, and I brought him on to sort of creatively direct and come up with ideas because I love his mind. He's a really fun guy to hang out with. And I was just telling him like, dude, like, here are my ideas, riff off of this stuff, come up with your own stuff. Like, let's just make some pretty stuff. And so we together came in and created all these visual concepts. I had this like levitation rig idea.
I think I remember when you were shooting this, because didn't you like practice it first
Yeah.
yourself? Or
Yeah,
like you had
Armani was
parts
like,
where
bro, fuck this. I'm not getting up on this thing. Like, you're trying to fucking kill me. I was like, no, dude. Like, these are professional
you're like, I
stunt
will do
guys.
it
Like,
first.
yeah, I was like, I will get on it right now. It's not that scary.
Didn't you get on it like with your camera for part of
Oh
it?
yeah, yeah. I was holding like a big my director's monitor.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was like
so you could
looking
see
at,
what it looked like.
yeah, I was
while
like
you're
looking at the frame while in the
in the
air.
air.
You know,
That's
it was
so
pretty
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah, man, that's so crazy. How did you get into film in the first place in West Virginia?
Oh, it was funny, dude. I feel like in West Virginia, there's not a whole lot of stuff to do. It's a pretty rural state. There's not a whole lot going on. And outside of like playing in the woods and just like hanging out with my neighbor, cuz we didn't even have asphalt to like play basketball or learn how to skate or anything like
You're
this
just like
it's
in the woods.
yeah, literally just in the woods. That's like that was my whole life. And so a huge inspiration for me was movies. I loved watching movies. It was such an inspiring thing to see such a I guess to see someone's art come to life in such a way that could really elicit real emotional response from you. I remembered like I was watching this I don't even know what movie it was, but it was this movie that had like tigers in it. It was kind of like a documentary style movie, and it was the first time I cried watching a movie because these tigers were being taken away, and like it was like it's like a sad story about yeah, basically these tigers being captured and taken somewhere, like taken away from their mothers and stuff. And as a kid, just like the thought of being taken away from my mother and stuff, you start to empathize with the films. And I don't know, I must have been 6 or 7 years old at this point.
Wow.
And it was like from that point on, I started to, I guess, empathize or sympathize, depending on what it was, with these films so much that I just had to be a filmmaker. It was just that was the way, dude. I was like, I'm gonna get a camera one day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make stuff. I couldn't afford a camera for a long time because my family was pretty poor, but I made do.
With what?
We had my first actual camera was it was like a camcorder that I got used. It was a Canon HG10, and it was definitely not the type of camera that you would want to use for really to make anything cinematic, you could say. Like at the time there were a lot of YouTubers I was watching that were using like the Canon, like the T2i and stuff like that. DSLRs generally had like a more cinematic look. Camcorders looked like home movie stuff, but I was able to save my money for it took me about 2 years
To save your money for that camcorder?
yeah, save my birthday money and Christmas money and stuff. And I worked for my dad doing like sweatshop labor basically. He had me like working $3 an hour, doing like doing stuff for the home business and stuff. And
What's the business?
My parents made rugs.
Oh, sick. So you were making rugs?
Yeah,
With
exactly.
like one of the tufting guns?
Yeah,
or?
with exactly.
No way.
They like my dad and my older siblings would make the rugs, and I would just do like little bitch work basically. I would make like
Sick.
little color samples and clean up around the workshop
Putting
and
the
stuff.
glue on the back of the
Yeah,
rugs when
yeah,
they're done.
exactly. Yeah,
That kind of stuff.
So I'd
yeah.
help out with that process, but
That's crazy. So you get this camcorder. You're how old now?
I would say I think I was like 12 at this point, maybe 11 or 12.
Okay.
So I'd wanted to be a filmmaker for multiple years now. I got around this time before I was able to afford the camera too. In the meantime, I was playing around with editing programs before I could actually buy a camera. So this is like before. This is even before the Adobe days. Like they had Adobe products, but they were like $800. They didn't have Creative Cloud and stuff.
You're doing like Final Cut, or
I used a bunch of crappy these free online programs that had they had like VFX stuff. They advertised themselves as being able to make you invisible and all this stuff. Not true at all. And so I honestly used Windows Movie Maker a lot.
Okay.
And would play around with like random clips that I'd download online. I'd make little edits. And I had a green screen that I couldn't use yet. It's pretty hilarious.
Like you
And
didn't know how, or you weren't allowed?
well, I didn't have a camera yet, so
Oh yeah.
I had a green screen that I bought, and I was just waiting until I had a camera one day. I was like hoping that one day I could like make VFX stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. So that drive, I think, is like, it kept me excited about saving my money.
So then you get this camcorder, and what, you start making movies?
Yeah.
With a
So
buddy, like, right away.
Really, I had no idea what I was making. So I made a lot of green screen videos because I had a green screen. I was so excited to make that stuff that I did a lot of like me and my neighbor would do like little, I would call them scenes, kind of like skits, where we'd get in front of the green screen, we put ourselves places, put ourselves in the desert, put ourselves in the ocean, in space, and we'd act like we were there. I'd be underwater. I'd be like drowning and stuff. So the gimmick of that was so legendary. Like, and the green screen work was absolutely horrible.
And this is like what year?
This is 20. Let me think about this. This must have been like 2010.
2010.
Yeah, I would say 2009.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would say so. I was like an early teenager at this time, a tweenie, maybe
Yeah.
I was like maybe around 12 actually.
Okay.
That I was doing this stuff.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, and so that was like basically all I lived and breathed was I didn't have very many friends because I was homeschooled for a while.
Till when?
Till high school, till 10th grade.
All the way till 10th grade, you were homeschooled.
Yeah, I was in
This
I was in-
explains so much.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. When I was in like first through like third grade, I was in public school, in my hometown because it's a really small town. It's very like there's a lot of poverty there, you could say. So the school system was pretty bad, and so my parents pulled me out and homeschooled me for a while. I didn't want to be homeschooled, but it was just we had to do it. Totally. And then I went back in the 10th grade, so I was gone for quite a while.
Okay, so this was like, this and YouTube were like your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. That was my thing.
Were you posting all these videos onto YouTube? Were you like,
What's
early
weird
YouTube
is I
kid?
had so much posting anxiety
Totally.
back then, and I still carry it now, like 15 years later. It's crazy how that works, but back then there weren't very many videos on YouTube yet.
Yeah.
My oldest brother Ash, he found YouTube in 2006, and we made our YouTube channel. We watched like all the stuff that was being uploaded, and you thought like basically everything was the shit on YouTube. It was just like the most somebody filming their dog, and it was like you thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, I mean, it was the biggest inspiration though. So I would record videos and I'd keep them on my computer. I did maybe 2 or 3 uploads. I did an edit that I uploaded to a Weird Al Yankovic song. It was just a picture slideshow of pictures that I thought were funny, like not even filmmaking at all.
Totally unrelated to Weird Al, just like random.
Oh
photos.
yeah, I just loved his music. I thought he was so funny. So that was like the kind of stuff I would upload. But in terms of actual filmmaking, I was so nervous, dude, for years and years.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I didn't want anybody to see what I was creating. So
I felt that for most of my life.
of just
that
like
kind of anxiety,
of people seeing your work and
like the perfectionism thing. Like I still have like I don't know if I call it like performance anxiety, but like I don't like the feeling of like everybody looking at me, like being the center of attention.
oh yeah.
Which as an actor is like a weird thing to not like. But like I like doing the work, but
How does it usually feel when you're on a like a film set when you're acting?
On a film set is like so different than theater for me.
Yeah, for sure. There are way fewer eyes on you on a film set.
No one's watching you except for the
Yeah.
director and like maybe a PA that's sitting on the side of the set.
Yeah.
But like everyone else is watching their own thing. The cinematographer's looking at the frame. You know, the lighting guy is not even looking at you. He's looking right at your face. He's not looking at you. He's
Yeah,
looking at the
that's
light on
very-
your nose. Like
And looking past you.
the sound
He doesn't even
guy
notice you.
is just like listening. Yeah, no one's paying attention to you except for your scene partner and the director when you're doing film because everyone has a job to do.
Absolutely.
But in theater, like everyone who has their job to do like has already done it, and then the only people who still have yet to do their job is the performers who then get on the stage, and then everyone in the room is just watching them, and obviously the lighting, you know, and the cue and the cue people and stuff and the music and all that. But like there are some people around, but the director's watching. And,
Dude, it's such a good thing that you can't see everyone's face while you're up on stage.
oh yeah,
That would be the worst.
Sometimes you can.
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
you totally can. But it's, I don't know. There's something about it to me where it's still like, I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm like close to one where like I'm my harshest critic, and the second I finish something, I'll watch it and come up with all the things that someone who hates it is gonna say, and then I'll be like, yeah, I don't need to share that. Like I don't, you know. And then so I have to like really push myself to share things.
How do you
know,
decide when art is done as a perfectionist?
I feel like art, it's done when you realize that you can't make it better.
Absolutely.
You'll always want to change it and tweak it and fix it, but there does come a point where you're like, this is not getting better, this is just getting different.
Exactly.
Now, you know.
I always say that too, that art is never done its due, because if you
totally.
if you don't set a due date, if you don't really have a goal in mind, it's never going to come out. You're never going to drop it. People are never going to see it. Nobody gives a fuck.
Well, that's what I want to get back to your trajectory with film in a second, but that is one of the things that I admire Anya so much for, is that she's so good at publicizing her goal before she executes it, and then like forcing herself in front of the world to execute the thing.
Dude, for
you
sure.
know, she like creates the pressure.
That's the biggest accountability partner is,
oh yeah,
you know,
and she has
thousands of people
such
staring
big
at you,
like aspirations. So
for
but
sure.
yeah, to say like I am going to do this, and then spend the next 3 months doing it by the time you said you would.
Dude, it's incredible. And she inspires me so much to sort of be accountable for myself, and to seeing her work really hard towards her goals always makes me want to continue to set goals in sort of a distinct time period that I'm going to be doing something.
Yeah.
I've always been so bad about that. I like to, just like you said, when you're a perfectionist, I think like when you're just trying to make something better forever, it's never gonna come out. You're never gonna see it because it's not done yet.
You convince yourself that you don't have anything to say.
Right.
You know, I think that's my biggest problem all the time with the work that I don't put out, is I'll like work on it and work on it and work on it, and then I'm ready to share it with the world, and I look at it and I immediately think like, who am I to think that this is valuable to someone else? Like, why does anyone need to see this? And then I'm just like, I did it. It's over. It's done. I'm going to put it away. No one needs to see it. And I scare myself out of that like feeling of vulnerability, where the whole world is going to look at this thing that you made and let them hate it. Let them think it's stupid. Let them. And I talk about it all the time, but doing it is another beast, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
For everything I successfully share with the world, there's probably like 10 that I didn't, you know, every time.
Because once you put your art out into the world, it's no longer yours.
Yeah.
And it's a scary feeling.
Yeah, you
no
gave
control
birth
over
to
it. Yeah, you gave birth to the thing, and here it is.
It's out in the world now.
People are gonna see it, and they're gonna say something. How do you respond when people say things that are not nice to your stuff? Do you feel like it affects you afterwards, or do you feel like you can cope with that well?
I think it depends on what, because I do a couple different things. So like if someone thinks my paintings are bad, that doesn't bother me much, because I am not a technically skillful, learned, trained painter. I'm not. I never went to school for it. I didn't.
But you're a damn good painter.
Thank you, dude. I think that a lot of my work is probably like technically bad, but I'm not trying to make something that is technically right. I'm trying to express something that I want to express, and the visual plane on canvas is like a really fun, cathartic way for me to do it. And the work I make, like, it's very unique. And so, no, it might not be good, but no one else is, you know, some people might be doing things like it, but like, it's not the reason I'm doing it is not to be the best at it.
Right.
I'm doing it to say the things I want to say. And this is the best way for me to say it.
It's for the soul, man.
Yeah. So I don't get offended or like discouraged if someone thinks that my paintings are bad. Acting is probably a little different because
I could see that. I could see that.
performance is very vulnerable.
That would hurt me.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I've gotten better at it. I can watch myself. I critique myself more than like anyone probably would critique me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like my biggest critic when it comes to acting.
And that's good for growth, though. It's really, really good to be self-critical, I think.
I think so. I mean, every artist, if you really consider yourself an artist, you're basically damning yourself to the reality that you'll never be satisfied with any of your work.
Absolutely.
That's just kind of what it means to be an artist. You're always going to say, I could have done that better, which is why you always make something else again after.
Exactly.
You know?
And if you're doing it to a point in which it's going to make you stop making art, that's bad, obviously. But if you're not doing that and you're doing it to propel yourself forward, or you're going to sort of shift and curate what you're doing, it's going to make you better ultimately.
Yeah. I've always considered myself like, you know, the whole like jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh yeah.
I've never had an interest in being a master of a trade. I was so much more interested in being a jack of like many trades.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's more fun to me.
Dude,
yeah.
I empathize with that too, for sure. Yeah. I used to call myself the Joe of all trades because I'm like, if I don't stop, like, put a little bit more time in one of these things, I'm just going to be shitty at a million things, and that's hardly even a jack of all trades. Like, I'm purely a Joe of all trades right now. I said that for years, but
that's so funny. You know, I totally I'm always thinking like, dude, I just need to cut out like 2 more things that I like to do so I can become much better at fewer things. But I like too many things, you know?
That's fair. And I think that builds your character so much. When you have so many things that you're doing, dude, it's just interesting. It makes you such a cool, fun guy. People know, like, Mickey Roberts is the guy that is not just an amazing actor, but he's an amazing voice actor. And he's a painter, and he's a writer, and he's a fucking stud who can model randomly. He's, like, behind the camera. He's in front of the camera. He's modeling. He's acting on a stage. It's like... Dude, is everything.
This is why I bring guests on this show so they can give me compliments the whole time.
See, that was $40 or $60. You're gonna pay me for that?
It was $60.
$60. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you the full 60 for it. Yeah. You didn't say any of the favorite things, but
yeah, that's right.
But no, thank you, dude. I feel like to some people it probably looks like I do a lot. But to me, like, I feel so lazy all the time, which I'm sure you feel. Like, you're so accomplished on paper. The things that you've been able to achieve as, like, a kid from a small town who couldn't afford a camcorder for years and then, like, fucked around and did his own stuff and then somehow made enough skill to be able to get a job in the video world, and then made enough connections to be able to get someone to trust you with their vision, and then to over and over and over again like exceed expectations to develop like the resume that you have now with music videos, and to be able to take like, and you know, artists, especially rappers, like they're so passionate about their voice and like what they're saying, which is kind of the whole nature of, I guess, that the rap industry is like your voice is your weapon. Your perspective, your everything. And so like for them to entrust you with their vision and their baby, their music that they made, and then to every time be like, hell yeah, it's better than what I wanted. Like, you on paper, you have like done the thing, like the American dream, like already, you know? But then for yourself, you probably spend like a random day futzing around and doing nothing, like looking for spare weed in the car and being like, damn, I'm so lazy.
No, dude, all the time,
you know?
man. I think that's like such a through line with so many artists.
Oh yeah.
It's just like it's something that I think every successful artist is going to struggle with, is this feeling of not doing enough. Especially, dude, we're just constantly chasing dopamine too on social media with Instagram and stuff. And when you see, Anya brought this point up to me recently, which is I think this is a really good point that is not talked about enough, which is when we're inundated with such an insane amount of clutter on Instagram, what it feels like is that all these people are posting all the fucking time. All these people have 1,000 posts a day, you know? But in reality, if you zoom in at any creator, even the ones that post a lot, they're still not posting that much. Like if somebody's posting every day, the quality is going to be lower. It's just a fact, unless they have millions of followers and they have a whole team. But that's beside the point. Most of the time, people are spending a decent amount of time on their content, and they're still, you know, some of these creators are posting once a week, once every 3 weeks, once a month. And but it feels like they're posting way more because either one, you don't realize how long it's been since you've seen their last post, or you're just confusing all these people together with the world's posting so much, the world's posting every second, and it feels like everybody's being so productive. But if you zoom in on most creators, you're like, this is so achievable if this is my goal.
Yeah. Well, and like, I mean, you look at, you know, say like Grace, for example.
Yeah.
You know, massive audience, massive following for the work that she does, and every day a new person who's never seen one of her videos is seeing it.
Right.
You know, and so then they like that video for the first time. They've never seen her work before, and because they liked her video or they shared it with a friend, the algorithm now thinks that they're interested in that content, so they feed her more. So now you're seeing a new video of hers every single day, and you're not realizing that the video that you're seeing, she made 2 years ago.
Right.
But they're feeding it to you now because you're new to her. You know,
that's a very good point too. Is like
you're not looking at the timestamps on these videos when you watch them. Like I half the time, like Marissa Mize, for example, another friend of ours, she will post a thing about how she's like in Egypt or whatever, which I know she's actually in Egypt right now. I can't remember another place she recently went, so I'm using Egypt. But like, I remember she posted something about being in like maybe Indonesia or something, and then she texted and was like, "Hey, why didn't like I hear about this dinner or whatever?" And someone was like, "I thought you were in Indonesia." She's like, "No, that was like 3 months ago. I just didn't post it till now."
Yeah, right.
You know, but I mean that happens too. Like the whole the online world warps time
Entirely.
and space, and it's not a 1-to-1 match to reality in any way. It's like an alternate digital universe. Like you can't even put your own rules on it.
No, not at all.
There's not a 24-hour cycle on that thing. It's like constantly.
That's such a good point.
You know?
And even the optics of it too. It's like if you're posting finished work on Instagram, who knows how long it took you to get there. It's like when that's why I love you know, as you said earlier about Anya sort of sharing to all these people, I think that's probably why so many people really enjoy Anya's content, is because since she's posting a lot of process videos, they're seeing a lot of the very real, gritty nature of what she's doing, which is like, here's me failing, here's me kind of winning, here's me doing this, here's me spending 3 months on this one single thing.
Yeah.
And that might be 5 videos talking about the one thing, but at the end of the day, you see like, okay, these are videos about this one piece of art that's taken her months and months and months. And like to an average person that's watching this, they're like, oh my God, like that's how long it's taken me too to make my art. I mean, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people making an art video might, you know, and I know that you probably empathize with this too as a painter, that like if they make a process video and it's them beginning to end and they make it look like it took them a fucking day.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I can't do that in a day. Like this is impossible. When really it took them 6 months, but like for the, you know, for the algorithm or for the aesthetic of their video or whatever, they just like blast right through
one
it.
clip that was 2 seconds long from,
exactly.
from 3
they
months
spin
ago.
It around.
Another one.
It's empty and then now it's there. It's like,
no, that's totally true. And it's also weird. There's a weird balance for me. You know, as an artist, I always feel like how much of the process is for me and how much of the process is for everyone else.
Right.
And in this world on social media and this content creation stuff that we're all sort of so inundated with and kind of trapped by and beholden to and also need to make a living. Like how much of the work do I want to share with everybody, and how much of it do I want to just have like for the reason that I make art in the first place? And where's the balance of like, at what point am I losing the reason that I started doing this, so I can like get people to value me, you know? And
that's a really good point.
Where do I do it? it's hard. It's hard to tell, you know.
I feel like it's so challenging depending on the medium too, because I think about this a lot when it comes to films, because with social media, I'm sometimes thinking, okay, is this for me, or am I pandering? Am I posting this for people? It has nothing to do with me and my fulfillment. But with films, ultimately, like, yeah, you could say that a film is for yourself. A lot of like what I've done has been for myself, for my own creative fulfillment. But at the end of the day, like when it comes to narrative, like film work, like, movies, um, I think any director wants people to see them. Ultimately, I think for me, part of the experience, part of the excitement is for me to make a piece of art that people can have some kind of emotional response to. I think it's so powerful. Just like
Yeah.
music, you can make music for yourself as as a musician, as a performer, but it starts to introduce such beautiful variables when you're making music that can help people, that can make people happy, that can make people excited or inspired to make their own music. And for me, like, you know, movies, if you can watch a movie and be excited about it to such a level that you want to go make a movie or you want to go change something in your life, I think it's so incredibly powerful. But there's that sort of gray area where in films, it's like, I want people to see it. I want people to be inspired by what I make. But with social media, like, is that the feeling here, that I want to make a video, like a social media, like a funny skit, or maybe a little tiny, like 10-second short film or something? Am I making this, for myself and for people to get inspired? Or am I making this because I think it'll do well?
Yeah.
And that's a kind of a hard, because when it's the latter, I start to feel a little bit guilty, like, and yucky, like I'm making this just to sort of pander to the algorithm, and
Yeah.
I can't really, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but for me, it just feels kind of icky.
I mean, I don't think, from a tactful standpoint, I don't think there's something wrong with it. Like, it is effective and it works. And if
Yeah.
you're going to break this down to a science, and there are many people who do that, then I don't think there's anything wrong with sort of figuring out what works and what doesn't. But I do think, and maybe I'm, being stubborn here, and I'm, 31, and I'm looking at like these younger kids only caring about fame and like sort of vacuous fame on social media, where they're like famous but they're not contributing anything. It's almost like parasitic, where they like, their fame allows them to get so much from the world, but they're not really giving a lot. They're just kind of shilling for products or something. They're sponsoring some sponsored ad or some whatever. But I do think that they're like, it kind of is bad and yucky to want to be sort of idolized by a whole bunch of people, as opposed to like wanting to be of service
I do agree with that
to
for
them.
sure.
Like I think that what you were saying before, with filmmakers and being inspired to make work, and musicians, and being inspired to make work that maybe could inspire someone else in the same way that this documentary about tigers inspired you to become this artist. Like that, the person who made that has no idea that it did that for you, but it changed the entire trajectory of your life at like 7 years old.
Right.
This piece of art that someone made, and like Anya makes this work, and she's allowing herself to be the open book to show people what it takes to unapologetically be an artist in New York. And that's vulnerable, and it's scary, and it's sometimes embarrassing, and it's also really exciting and dangerous, but she's willing to do it so other people like her or younger than her can look at her and say, well, if she can do it, and she's basically laying out a path of like how she does it, like that's substantive, it's valuable. It like, you're using this platform to put something out into the world that matters outside of the platform.
And the world needs more of that too. Like to see to see a roadmap of success, and it's full of optimism and light, feels so great in a world of brain rot on on these platforms. That's how I feel about narrative stuff too. Is like if a movie makes you feel good, or even just it makes you feel something, any emotion. I think that's really exciting. Like if you watch, I think that's why, horror movies have been really popular for years, but like psychological thrillers and horror films are huge right now, and the studios are even recognizing it because they elicit something. People go to see them because they want to feel something outside of just like scrolling brain rot shit all day.
Yeah.
It makes you feel scared. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my god, I fear for my life in this very moment. Or
I'm surprised that like a adrenaline junkieism or whatever like hasn't kind of run rampant in today's world.
Dude, honestly,
people aren't doing it more.
and maybe it is. If we looked at like,
Yeah, maybe I'm just not looking at that
maybe
part.
if we looked at the stats or something, like maybe like the Red Bull content is ramping up. The views
Dude,
of
the Red Bull content's crazy.
Dude, it's funny actually that you say this too, because I have noticed, and this is just my algorithm, so it's not objective at all. But I am being fed a lot more Red Bull videos right now. Like I just saw the biggest like ski jump ever was just posted pretty recently.
I feel like I might have seen that.
The biggest. And the guy that
Alex
skied
Honnold.
down Everest, yeah, and Alex Honnold too,
climbing 101 Taipei or whatever it was.
Yeah, dude. And I keep getting fed this content. It makes me think like, I wonder if there is a craving for this type of content.
Well, I think
People are excited.
too, and this is maybe going off, a little on a tangent of what we were talking about, but I think too that, in a world where so much of the physical world that we live in has kind of been explored and discovered, there's no more room for, a Lewis and Clark. There's no like uncharted territory that we can like go on this adventure. I mean, there's the Amazon rainforest and deserts, and there are places, but I feel like people are starved for outliers in our society, like people who can prove what human beings are capable of doing. One of the reasons we all watch sports is because you're watching people do things you can't do. It's impressive to watch like
No, I could
an
do that.
athlete.
Man.
You could.
Yeah,
do
I
it.
could.
That's because you have your special magical talisman on your neck all the time. Your gummy
man,
bear.
it gives me strength. It gives me strength.
Dude, that thing is actually so cool. You've had that since I met you, I think.
Oh yeah, dude. Thanks, man. I love my little.
Where did you get that?
Dude, I just got this. I got this little bear on. It was on some crappy website like ASOS or something.
Really?
And I just put it on a nicer chain. I just wear it all the time. I got my little duck. I made the duck though. I put a little ring in his head.
Hell yeah.
Turned him into a necklace, and then I got my Caro necklace. Dude, it's
Oh,
funny.
sick.
It's funny about the athlete thing. Just as a little tangent, I just did this little. I just directed this little thing for the. It was like a mockumentary style thing for the New York Knicks and DoorDash. Just like commercial. I just did it like last week, and the whole entire sort of direction of the video is that Josh Hart from the New York Knicks, he's like an incredible athlete in the NBA, and he sees these two guys talking shit on Instagram saying that they could be professional athletes and how hard could it be. So he brings them to the gym and takes them through all these basketball drills.
Oh, that's so
and it's fucking
fun.
hilarious seeing these two guys these are big ass dudes. They're both like at least 6'5". They're huge guys, but they're not athletes. And they're like, they have like they have a podcast and stuff actually, and they're going through all these drills, getting absolutely wrecked by this like physicality. And so it was exactly that, and it did make me realize seeing like Josh Hart is, he's, I don't know how he is, I think he's like 6'5", but him and a lot of athletes out there, like you see them on the street and you're like, yeah, that guy's very fit, but you would have no idea that he's like an Olympic level fucking athlete.
Yeah.
Until you see what they do, I'm just like, wow, it puts you in a totally different perspective. Like seeing him and even these big guys that were supposed to look bad on camera, they were way better than me at basketball. It just it separated me even more from the professional athlete. I was
you really see,
like, dude, I'm nowhere fucking close.
how far you actually are from the best of the best. And then you look at athletes like Michael Jordan or something, and they're so far above even the best athletes.
Even the best athletes, dude.
And you start to think like, wow, people really
it's insane.
really
dude.
excel. Well, it's what's that jack of all trades, master of none thing. It's like some people truly do master a trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
They put in their 10,000
It's
hours.
their
Or,
mindset. Like I don't think I'm the kind of person that could master a trade. I'm not hyper fixated enough on one
Right.
singular thing. But when you meet someone who is, it really is like mind blowing to me. I wanted to start a show. Tell me if I should if this is a bad idea, I'll keep
Ooh,
it
okay.
in. If it's
Yeah.
a good idea, then I'll cut it out because I don't want someone to take it.
yeah.
Um,
So if the audience sees like a big blip in the clip, that's how you know it was a fire
that's how you know it's a
idea.
great idea.
But if they hear about it, no,
Yeah,
it's shit.
Then Davey told me this was a bad idea, and we're cutting back in. So it's a good idea.
It's an amazing idea. It's so good that I've been recording on my phone this whole time. I'm taking it. I'm running with it. I'm copywriting it, trademarking it. It's mine.
I'm getting 2 more beers.
Okay, word. Absolutely. I mean, even if you didn't take it all the way to a network, and you did an online show that is ran by you, but you had big sponsors, in a way that would give you the autonomy to not be fucked by these corporate bureaucrats.
Well, that's so true. That's probably a better idea. Is just
Honestly,
like,
yeah.
do it myself, and then
Because it's challenging working with like big people with the big money, got big ideas, and they're often big stupid ideas.
and they're not creatives, but they want to be.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they give you their idea.
Shadow artists. That's what
Yeah.
Julia Cameron calls
Shartists.
them. Yeah, shartists. I like that. Shartists. That's good. We
That's
don't want to
funny.
be shartists.
We don't want to be shartists. All right, so we're gonna go full circle all the way back. I don't even know if I ever told you.
That was a great sound, by the way. You hear that?
Give me another.
It didn't work.
Once and done.
It was the bubble.
Oh yeah, you want to hear another great sound? I was gonna do that.
Oh, what is that? Oh,
Yeah.
that was a good. Oh, with the thumb too.
Quality content right here.
One beer in, by the way. We're sitting here.
Just slapping myself.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the only thing I post for this. Whole
Yeah, this is the
episode.
only time.
This is the clip.
Have you seen that Appalachian brawl where the guys fucking they basically get big rednecks in a wrestling arena and they beat each other up? It's going pretty viral right now. But they get these idiots like these.
Jamie,
like,
pull it up.
Jamie, pull it up. These rednecks to sort of like market the fights. They make the whoever's running this makes these rednecks punch themselves. So they'll beat the shit out of themselves as promo for the fights. They'll say, "You get your ass in here. I'll kick your teeth in. I'll pull your hair out." And they'll start
punch themselves?
They punch themselves, dude. It's fucking insane. I've
Dude,
never seen anything
Do
like
they get
it.
paid for this?
I imagine so. Probably not very much.
Damn. See,
Probably 2 Coors Light,
yeah.
2 Coors Light, and a meal.
Yeah, truly.
Hell yeah.
Some Easy Mac.
Some venison.
That's crazy, dude. I don't think I could punch myself in the face. I mean, I guess I could.
Dude, I was thinking about this, that like it's so hard for the human brain to want to injure yourself until you tell yourself
Yeah.
to over and over and over and over.
But when it's like an instantaneous injury, like I can fully commit to punching myself in the face, and it's not gonna hurt till I hit myself. And once it does hurt, I've already done it. So I
Right.
feel like I could punch myself in the face. I couldn't drown myself
Ah,
because that takes time, and my brain is going to stop me
right.
from doing it to myself. But one punch, like
Yeah,
I
to
just
punch
wind
yourself
up all the way.
repeatedly is pretty insane, though.
Yeah, that
Like,
doing it
over and
multiple
over and over.
times.
One
is
of the
like,
guys, like he knocked his own tooth. He knocked his own tooth out
on camera.
on camera. Yeah, it's insane.
Dude, these guys sound like amazing people.
Amazing people, dude.
Should have them on.
Let's get these guys in there. Let's get a
truly.
couple beers in them.
Yeah, let's get a couple beer. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, free beer!"
That's so funny.
I don't think I even told you what this podcast was about. Did I tell you anything about this before you came on?
Oh,
Or did I
you
just
said
tell you a
this
long
is
time
about
ago?
artists who are failing, right?
That's the log line of every episode.
Yeah. Today we're gonna be bringing on. Every day we're bringing on artists that have failed.
That tried to make it.
They
and
tried
they
to
just
make it and
couldn't.
just
This is their therapy.
and gave
session.
up.
Yeah, this is this is your final chance.
Yeah, that's so good. No, I don't remember what I think. You mentioned to me a log line in the distant past. I don't know if it's similar anymore.
Yeah,
Or
I
just
don't know. It's
people
like
trying their thing.
changed this, this, that, and the other way over the last, this is only going to be episode 8, but I took a hiatus when I first started because
Okay.
I was getting married and there was a lot of other things happening and I just didn't have time to do this. But the show is, it's called Art is Not Sacred, and it's really just about how people who choose to live a creative lifestyle, as opposed to the traditional 9 to 5, how they like, why they choose to do it, why art is so important and creativity is so important to them in their life that they're willing to sacrifice stability to achieve it, or to maintain their relationship with creativity. And just like who are the creatives in New York and in our circles that like are making their mark on the next generation of art, in across all these industries. Who are these people? I just think it's like a good space. There's so many artists that I love so much, and I never get to hear how they got into this. I only know my story.
Dude, that's a beautiful thing.
You're a beautiful thing.
You're a beautiful thing.
But yeah, that's why I wanted to bring you on.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's a powerful idea too, because it is inspiring to see other people who, anytime you see somebody making art full time and they don't have other stuff going on, you're like, or they do and they're trying to not, it's an inspiring thing.
I think all the time, if 10-year-old Mickey could see just like a glimpse into the future to 31-year-old Mickey, and
living in New York City,
working full time as an artist,
yeah, dude,
and like living in an apartment and not on the street, married with a great woman that 10-year-old Mickey will one day meet. He doesn't even know that girl exists yet, and like I think he'd be so pumped to be like, all right, like, am I Banksy? No, but am I like living the lifestyle that I dreamed of as a child? Totally. No idea that it was going to look like this, but
yeah, no
here
idea.
it is,
But here he is, man.
It's crazy.
In a cool artsy apartment with all your art on the walls.
Like, yeah, truly. Could
That's
you imagine
sick,
like telling 7-year-old or 12-year-old Davey with the camcorder that he spent 2 years waiting to buy in his little green screen, like, dude, one day you're going to be working with this list of artists making work that they're sharing with people.
Dude, it's a really crazy thing. I mean, even now, like as I'm going through it, it's like a very, it's such a crazy experience. I feel so incredibly grateful every single day that I even get to live in New York, honestly. Yeah. And I love West Virginia. I love being out in the woods, but at the end of the day, like I had to change shit up, man. I had to be around other creatives. I think that's, to me, is probably what inspired me more than anything, was just being around other creatives. I think you can only be creative by yourself for so long.
Yeah, before you start feeling like you have nothing else to say.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not hearing anything.
You're not hearing anything, and it's also like, I think meeting other people that are really creative and motivated in their own ways lit a huge fire under my ass to keep going. Otherwise, I think I don't know. I would have moved at a much slower pace, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would have moved at a slower pace, and I may have missed out on some of the opportunities that I had. But yeah, like going to 368 and meeting so many cool people, I started to feel more confident in myself and who I was as a creator. I started to see like, okay, I'm not a social media guy. I'm not going to be this YouTuber that I wanted to be when I was a kid, or I'm not going to be, I love comedy so much.
Me too.
And I wanted to make sketch comedy. I wanted to make all this like social media content in general just for fun. But I realized like, if I continue to just do whatever feels right, which at the time was grinding my way into the narrative space so that I could do my ultimate magnum opus life goal of making a feature film, I realized like all this other stuff is like taking away. And it wasn't until I was at 368 and I met all these different creators doing their thing that it really gave me the confidence. Because, dude, for you, I mean, even still, obviously, it's this thing we talked about earlier of like when you feel like you're not that great at what you do, that's ultimately what's going to control the outcome of your trajectory. And at the time, I was thinking like I'm just a guy who's shooting music videos. I'm just a guy who's doing this, and I was comparing myself against the very, very biggest cinematographers and directors, and I felt like an absolute nobody. But in reality, when I was meeting all these people at 368 and in New York, like they were in a completely different space. And I would have people with millions of followers on Instagram come and be like, dude, how did you shoot that thing? And I'm like, how did I shoot? How do you have this massive following? How do you have like such crazy consistency? And I started to realize, wait a second, like we all have our own thing. And my thing was that, you know, in the film space, I was really excelling at what I was doing. It didn't feel like it at all, but I started to pick up on my own identity, and I realized like this is really important for me. If I continue just to do this, not get drowned out by other people, not get under sort of overstimulated or depressed that I'm not doing what I want to be doing. If I just keep doing my thing, like eventually it's going to pay off. And that was, I saw music videos as like a temporary thing, which is good. I saw them as a really fun way to make small abstractions of films. I saw a music video is a 3-minute film.
Yeah.
And they can be real. It could be a really bad film or a really sick film. Most of the time, it's eye candy. You know, you don't have to. Most of the time, you're not dealing with audio and all these things that films have. But sometimes you are. Sometimes you could go shoot something narrative with like a little storyline and a shot list and storyboard, and it feels just like a film. You know, there are characters and the whole thing. And so, at the time, I realized, okay, all these 368 people are doing their thing. It's fucking inspiring. I'm just going to keep making music videos, and I'm going to use this as my strategy to continue to get bigger work. And one day I'm going to stop, and I'm going to say, I'm done with music videos forever. I'm never doing another one. And I'm not quite at that point, but I've gotten to where, you know, I've shot 2 music videos in the last year and a half, 2 or 3.
Wow.
Because I finally reached a point where I sidestepped into an opportunity, which was to make a TV show.
Yeah, Ocean Parkway is called?
Yeah, Ocean Parkway.
Yeah.
And it was finally the moment where all my opportunity that I had taken sort of gave me an opportunity to finally step back into narrative. I say back into narrative because my mental space was in narrative for so many years.
Yeah.
I had made little shitty short films in high school and college.
Yeah,
Just
I
like,
watched one of them today.
oh, did you? What,
Yeah, Gary's No Good Day.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fun.
I watched Gary's No Good Day today.
That was a funny one that I made in college
It was
for.
making me laugh.
Yeah, that's hilarious that you found that too.
Yeah.
That's legendary. That was from. Have you ever heard of Campus Movie Fest?
I did that's where I found it on YouTube.
Oh, okay,
I found it
yeah.
on their channel.
Yeah, they used to. It was a really uplifting thing that they did for younger audiences, because they would go around to different colleges, let people rent out their camera kits, and they had a big film festival basically where they vote on the best films, and then they actually pay for a slot in Cannes in France.
Wow.
For the very best ones to go and be shown in Cannes. And then not only that, but there's like an upper echelon where once you go to Cannes, they kind of select like the best ones there. So it's a really cool thing that they were doing. And like at my school, you know, there were maybe like at West Virginia University, there were probably like 100 submissions or something like that, 115, something like that. And I saw this as an opportunity. I was like, dude, I want to make something. And I didn't have any resources, but they supplied the camera. They did everything. And
oh, yeah.
so that was one of the first times that I was able to have sort of a purpose behind a film that was outside my own creative fulfillment.
Like a deadline.
Yeah, I had a deadline. I was like, art is never done. It's due. And shit was due in a week. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make this. And of course, by the end of it, I was like, God damn it, I want this to be better. I want this thing to happen. I want this thing to happen. But, you know, it forced me to submit something. And at my school, I was one of the winners.
Sick.
And, you know, there was a catch to it. It's like if you want to go to Cannes, you have to. I had to buy a ticket to go there, and it would have been it played there. I guess I didn't go because I didn't want to pay like $1,200 for a ticket and all this shit.
Watch the film you've
Yeah,
watched
just
100
yeah,
times.
exactly. And sure, I probably could have met some cool people there that would have said like, oh, let's let's make something together. But it just didn't feel right at the time. But what it did do is it lit a fire under my ass. Probably the first one.
Yeah.
It made me continue to make stuff.
That's so cool, man.
But that's what music videos did, man. Is like I felt like music videos, they were exciting, but they reached a certain point. At least for me, my perspective on it is that it wasn't giving me what I wanted fully in terms of fulfillment, because there's only so much creativity that you can add to a lot of music videos. Because at the end of the day, it's client work. You are working with people who are paying you money to make something for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big, crazy, fun ideas I had, I wasn't able to do because, these people, record labels have certain limitations, artists have limitations, and then you have budget diet. Where does that come from? Budget restrictions too. And I realized, like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make movies.
Yeah.
Just like the old days. So I leveraged every music video I could to get the opportunity until Ocean Parkway came along. And
that's so freaking awesome, man. It's so exciting. I mean, we're doing the thing,
we're doing the thing, baby.
It's weird because like I feel like in the acting world, I've been chugging away the same way that you've been chugging away, like music video after music video, just trying to hone in your skills, getting better at the thing, like, slowly but surely, like getting to this place where you've kind of found your voice.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's not that different in the acting world, except the acting world, it's all audition based. But I imagine it's not too different as a director, where it's like, it's not called an audition, but like, I'm pitching my shit, and they're either gonna like it or they're not. They might find a director who's not as good on paper as me, or doesn't have as many credits, but their vision just aligns with what the artist wants more, so they're better.
That's exactly it. Especially for, I think, like the more corporate spaces, like when you're pitching yourself as a director for commercial work, that space is really, really competitive.
I'm sure.
With that, clients are actually like doing outreach. They're looking for directors, and directors will pitch themselves just like actors. Like you have a website, you have like a show reel. You have to go through this sort of structured process to become a director that is selected by an agency or directly to client. It's like very, very much like, you're on backstage submitting audition tapes. It's the same shit. But I think with bigger projects, that's when it starts to get, you're super, super in the weeds. And as a director, most of the time, you're also a producer. And you can be the writer, or you're working with a writer. And when you're going from the ground up, it's just a grueling, slow process of trying to find funding and the right people to fund what you're doing.
Totally.
And that's a different process in itself, because it's not just pitching yourself as, I'm this director who can do this thing, but it's, I have this idea, I'm going to make it, and you're going to trust in me so much that you're going to give me the money or a distribution deal or whatever it is. And that's like it's a very rare thing to see.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think, I've worked on a bunch of films and projects, but I've made only like 4 or 5 of my own short films. And I've always gone into it. My favorite director is Cassavetes.
Oh, nice.
He's like my favorite. And one of the reasons is because he always said that the frame is right if the actors are in it.
I like that.
He was always like, people are like, oh, like, is the framing good? Is everything is like, are they in it? Are the actors in the frame? Then it's good. And I loved that. I loved the simplicity of the way that he filmed. And I took that to the like extreme degree. And I don't regret it, because it's been a learning process, but I totally took these sort of philosophical pillars that I had learned from Cassavetes and probably misinterpreted. And I took them as justifications for me to make projects with budgets that were not big enough for the project I wanted to make. And I would justify it to be like, it's a small budget. It's like a nothing budget project, so we're going to make it. I know it's not going to be great. but I'm going to try and make the project as best I can instead of writing things for the budget that I had. Which is the smarter way to do it, is to like write something you can shoot with the money you've got.
But you never know. I mean, like he said, I think it's a beautiful thing when you can see a film and sort of like as a sort of thespian piece. You see it as like, this is a stage. This frame is a stage. Yeah. And sure, the production design isn't there. The cinematography isn't there. The audio isn't there. Nothing is there other than the actors. Yeah. At the end of the day, it can be a 12 Angry Men. It's, and the performance is in the frame. And obviously I'm not to, that sounds very like I'm downplaying 12 Angry Men, but I mean,
no,
but you get what I'm saying though. It's like, it's all in the
best films ever.
When you can do a whole film at a table, that's
mastery of a craft.
It's mastery of a craft.
Hold an audience.
Exactly. And that music can be translated to a stage, It's like, have you seen The Whale?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen The Whale, but I know the story. The Brendan Fraser film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was Aronofsky. And when I watched that film though, it felt like a stage piece because there's a lot of what feels like exit stage left, exit stage right, which is these characters going in and out of this living room that Brendan Fraser's in the whole time. And to me, it was that film was so fucking inspiring to me as an indie filmmaker at the time that saw there's so much promise in making a film that's single location literally in a living room. That's like what does everybody have is the place that they live in, whether it's good or not. You can write a screenplay around a guy being in a living room for the entire film. That's amazing. That's like writing around a constraint. And so they were able to do that massive movie, Hollywood picture for like $3 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but obviously for
a movie, it's not.
They could have gotten way more money, but they didn't need it because it's a single location film. And but the acting was there. Yeah, and it made me realize, like, if you say you have a bunch of friends in film school or something, and your friends are phenomenal actors, you could literally set the camera up, set the GH5 up, and you have like a beautiful scene that, technically speaking, if the right person saw it, could see, okay, this has legs to become a feature or like a series or whatever it is. So yeah, it is a real thing, but obviously, like, to work with constraints in other regards too, and try to like, it is a good idea to try to constrain yourself a little bit.
Learning the, because I went to film school before I went to.
Where did you go to film school again?
Fairfield University.
Fairfield. Where is that?
In Fairfield, Connecticut.
Oh, in Connecticut. Yeah. That's right.
Right by Bridgeport. And the program that I was in was incredible. It basically was dismantled like the year after I left because the head of the program got fired for disagreements with the administration. He was kind of like breaking rules because he cared more about the kids having like a great experience learning than he cared about like what he was supposed to do. But anyway, I mean, because I almost went to Emerson.
Okay.
I really wanted to go to Emerson's film program because I thought that, they're Emerson. There's so much history with the quality of their film program and whatever. And I went to visit them, and I was really enraptured by like everything that they were saying. And then they told me at the end, they were like, so the first 2 years are theory, and then when you're a junior, you can start applying that theory and practically and be on film sets and like work with a camera. I was like, so you're saying that the first 2 years I'm not going to touch a camera? And they said, no, you have to learn the theory first, and then you can touch the camera. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So then I ended up going to Fairfield instead. And when I went to Fairfield, they put a camera in my hand the first weekend of the first week that I was there. And I had a camera in my hand every single weekend working on a short film the entire time that I was there. I was there for a year and a half before I dropped out because I wanted to go back to acting. But for that year and a half, I worked on probably like 100 short films, in that short period of time. And they just let us have carte blanche, like full control over, as students, like of all of their equipment.
Wow.
Building like 30-foot jibs, cranes, and we had like 100 feet of dolly track that we could use, and we had like 2 different steady cams, and we had like everything that you could imagine wanting at the time. This is 2012. 2012 to 2013, we had like a red Dragon, and like a couple other red cameras, and like they just let us take this stuff anywhere we wanted. You know, you just check it out, and then like use it. And it was super fun because the quality of the stuff that we got to do was great because the equipment we were using was great. But it was like so much so fast that I almost now feel like I didn't get to appreciate it properly because I didn't learn the theory. Like I just was doing practical work. Like I was just figuring it, running, gunning it all the time, which I don't think is a bad way to do it. But for me, it was a little like, I actually don't know how to read a histogram. So like, how do I become a cinematographer? And because I wanted to be a cinematographer at first, and then I wanted to be an art director for a little while, and then I decided I wanted to go back to acting because I just couldn't do the technical side of what you do. Like I can tell you what I want as a director. Like this is the feeling I want to create. This is sort of the emotional space, and these are the colors that I think justify that. Work your technical magic and make that work. Like I have no idea how to do it myself. You know.
That is a funny thing that cinematography, I feel like it can be so fucking technical to a level that's like, I mean, for me, even as like, and I love cameras and I love the technical side of it, but it's like a never ending hole. It's a black hole where like, it's just when you think you've learned everything about DSLRs and mirrorless, and now obviously mirrorless cameras, but you get into real cinema world and you start to, you have full camera crews working with you, and you think like, okay, I've learned everything, and then it just opens up a whole new world of stuff that you have no idea about. And it just never stops, up all the way, all like to the very highest levels. And that's what I realized as a DP. I could learn as much as I possibly could about lighting, which is ultimately the most important thing.
For sure.
And I would still never, I'll always be learning. And then on the technical side, I just kind of gave up. I was like, okay, I've learned what I need to know. I know how to avoid certain issues with, I want to know enough to where I'm never going to run into any technical issues on set. But I did realize like, okay, this is it's a very important thing to hire camera assistants and people that can, that have dedicated their life to purely knowing exactly how to problem solve every issue with a camera.
Totally.
Because if you spend all your brain power on that, then it's going to start to take away from, the image, away from the screen.
I think it's like one of the most important things you can do as an artist, especially if you work in an industry or in an artistic medium that is a communal medium like filmmaking. No one can make a film by themselves. It takes 100+ people to make a film. But one of the most important things as an artist is to figure out what you can do. Totally. Figure out the things that you are good at. But more importantly, like figure out the things you can't do. And then find the people, the other artists in your life who do those things. And then become like,
the Avengers.
The Power Ranger when all the Power Rangers are together. Become like the Avengers.
Exactly.
Because you just can't do it all.
No.
I can act and I can direct. I've tried to DP just about every project I've done. I can hold the camera and I can pick good frames, but that's what directors do. Like I can't do the other thing, I've tried to do audio. Audio is another language to me.
It's good though that you've done it all, because I think when you're communicating to people, it's really important to know their process. And like for me as a director, I think that's something that I've heard. I didn't think about this early on, but I've now heard from a lot of department heads that they really appreciate that I came up in sort of a guerrilla style. And, I've been a key grip. I've been a gaffer. I've been a sound recordist. I obviously was a DP for years. I've been at first AC, second AC. I've been a PA so many times that I can really relate to these people when I talk to them, and I have expectations. It's like if a director is telling a DP, go do all this shit, go do it now, faster, and tell your lighting guys to do their shit. It's like, there's like this huge disconnect from their crew, that the crew starts to really disrespect the director, or they just don't respect or understand where the director's coming from when the director says like, okay, you have an hour to do this setup, even though it involves like setting up this massive moon box on a condor, and you have like, 18 overhead lights in the rafters. You have all this stuff, like specifically for this warehouse scene that I was doing on the show, for example. It was an absurd amount of prep work
in 1 hour, and you're like, this is not possible.
yeah, exactly. And we had a certain amount of time that we had this location, and instead of trying to force things to happen on the grip and electric side, collaborating with these guys and saying, okay, like, let's see what's fully realistic. I'm going to change my creative based on what I know is possible here, and I'm not just going to try to force things on these guys, like,
make it your problem.
Make it like you guys you guys are the creatives, you deal with it. It's like, that's bullshit. Like, totally. I feel like a director should always be collaborative, because a director is ultimately the head of a bunch of beautifully artisanal masters of their crafts. And if you're a director who's good, you're going to work with all these people and collaborate to make something really good, and you're not going to boss people around.
Yeah.
You're going to hire the people that are the best. You're going to surround yourself with greatness.
Yeah.
So that you can make something really good.
Well, it's one of the best lessons that I learned as when I was working on all these films as a grip, or as a best boy to the gaffer, or whatever it is that I was doing on these sets. There was one particular film that we did, and we shot it in Maine in January. It was called The Lighthouse, and we shot it in Maine on the ocean, like on the water, on the Atlantic in January. And I was the grip, and I had to get into the water to like my knees and push this rowboat. It was a period piece, so I had to push this like old rowboat from the water onto the shore for this close-up shot of the boat, like going onto the shore when the guy gets out with his lantern and goes up the lighthouse, whatever. So it's January. It's like 6 a.m. Fucking so cold, and my shoes are off, my pants are rolled up, and I'm in the water pushing up this boat, shot after shot. Like, we did it like 4 or 5 times because, I couldn't quite with the waves. I couldn't get it in the very shallow depth of field.
Sounds miserable.
It was horrible, but it was also fun because I was like 19 and so pumped to be there. So we're doing this project, and this actor has the audacity to complain to me between shots how cold he is, and how annoying it is that they called him to set when they weren't fully prepped yet for him to be there, because it's so cold and he just wants to go back inside. And I was like, dude, you are talking to the wrong guy right now.
Yeah, that's insane.
But the lesson it taught me as an actor was because so many people, so many times you're on set as a crew member, the actors are treated oftentimes, they're often treated like they're another class, but they often act like they're another class.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
They're better than the crew.
It's ridiculous.
They get special,
ridiculous.
People bring them coffee, they do it, they're like special. You're not. We're all doing the same exact thing. But so as an actor now, what I learned from like being a PA and a grip and all these sets was like, oh, I want to. Firstly, I will never complain to a crew member, because anytime I've been there, I'm there at 8 a.m. They were there at 5.
Right.
No matter what. Anytime I'm cold, they're so much colder. Anytime I'm annoyed by anything, they've had to deal with way more.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's everything that I've learned on sets, like as an actor, being able to hear a director say like, all right, we're going to shoot this on an 85. And in my head, knowing the frame like immediately, instead of having to be like, hey, is like how much of me is in frame, to be like, just to like know little things of like how to not be in the way, and how to totally like understand what you need from me in your language, technically your language, then like having to say everything to your crew and then have to turn to the actor and be like, all right, so what we're doing is this, and I just need you to like be a little bit that way because the frame ends right where that wall.
It makes you way more enjoyable to work with,
it saves time.
It saves a lot of time.
You know?
And when you empathize with the people you work with, they respect you a lot more. I even think like it's funny when you say that you were out pushing the boat in the water. It reminds me, I did this thing for my friend. Her name's MyFam on YouTube, and she has this really cool clothing company called Alchemy. We shot this commercial up in Vermont where it was really cold. I can't remember what month it was, but it was winter, and these influencers had to strip the clothes off these hoodies and jump off a dock into a lake in their underwear. It was really, really cold at a 6 a.m. like sunrise shoot. It was frigid. There's frost on this, like the grass, like it was completely frozen, and they were super cold. And instead of me being this like dickhead who's telling them like, okay, let's do another take, like let's like push through it, even though your toes are falling off. Like I took my clothes off too.
Yeah.
And I was holding the camera. I was directing and DPing this because this was like a smaller budget thing, and I was running after them with the camera with my clothes off too, just so that if I told them like, okay, let's do it again, I wasn't
I'm just
like
as cold as you are.
Yeah, I was cold too. I knew what the limit was, and it was purely just to like be in the same. And they loved it so much, like they appreciated it. That I was like, I was willing to be miserable too, and I wasn't gonna be wearing like an Arc'teryx puffy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Run it again, guys. Run it again. Like
yeah, like come on, just one more.
Yeah, one more.
They're perfect.
But in that way, I was like, so when I said one more, they're like, okay, he's doing the exact same thing as us, you know?
And
so they really respected it
to an actor, because oftentimes, you know, the flip side of what I was saying, how actors are treated like they're special, or they act like they're special. They also like get abused a lot.
Absolutely,
actors
dude.
are constantly being abused.
That's literally why SAG is a thing. Is because like, without SAG, people would be like fucking abused physically. People would be hurt. People would be like doing the craziest physicalities until wee hours of the night for peanuts
all the time, especially if you're not in the union. Yeah, like everyone's just trying so hard to like be respected, and nobody's giving you that chance.
They just want to be seen as an artist, and a lot of times like,
oh yeah, hold on, dude, can we pause for a sec?
Yeah. I actually have to pee real quick too.
Exactly. But have you always like been gravitated romantically to creatives, or?
Yeah, I think I've always gravitated towards creatives because to me, it's so important for me to be around people that inspire me. And you don't have to be sort of in the arts to be creative. You know, people can be creative in other ways, but I think for me specifically, when people are in the arts, partners, I think it adds so much to my inspirations, and it excites me every day to create, you know. And so for me, it's important, like for me to be around friends that are just constantly trying to create stuff. It doesn't have to be similar to what I'm creating, but you know, it's really important, and it's the same way in a partner. If I'm with a partner who is really excited to create in any way, whether it's you know, in an art medium, or if they're creating in their own way, whatever that is. You know, there's so many variations of creation. I think it's so inspiring to be around that. It's so essential for me.
Yeah,
I can get lazy easily. So,
dude, yeah, me too. I've almost, since high school, I've pretty much only like almost exclusively dated artists or actors or something. You know, Sarah's an actor, also, and a massage therapist, which is equally like very profound for me, because she has this sort of sense of creativity that is not in the arts as we typically say it, but like she has this passion and this drive and this like deeply studied skill set in this thing that I totally don't understand.
And it's very, very inspiring too.
It's just cool to see. I mean, I guess it's just, you want to be with motivated people in whatever it is they do.
Right.
You know, creatives tend to always be motivated because you kind of have to be if you're going to make a living as a creative at all.
Yeah, especially without any other supplemental
Yeah, you have
income.
to make work to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people just go to work and make money, but they're not making the work. They just get told what to do and then they do it, they get paid. But when you like have to make something in order to make any kind of living, that kind of motivation, that mentality is so contagious, you know. And I'm just so curious because I knew you and Anya separately before you guys started dating,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, I don't know how much later, a year or more later after I met you, you guys were dating, and I didn't know at first, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is about to be like a power couple. How has it changed like your creativity being with Anya?
I think it's given me such a good perspective shift that I think as somebody with pretty intense ADHD,
Hell yeah,
I
I know it well.
yeah, I didn't I didn't recognize the difference between ADHD and anxiety for a really long time.
Mm.
And oftentimes when I wasn't doing something, I think it's easy for a lot of people to say, "Oh, I have ADHD. That's why I'm lazy." But for me, it didn't quite feel like laziness. I couldn't quite figure out what it was in my life that was prohibiting me from doing certain creative things.
Mm.
And I thought it was really, really hard to recognize what this thing was. I was absolutely baffled at how I could be so passionate about something, but not be able to get true output. I kept thinking, what like, is there something wrong with me? Um, you know, do I need to change something in my life? Am I really not truly inspired enough? Like, what is this? Really, it was anxiety, and I was really nervous. Um, just worried that people are going to see my work and think a certain way about it, or the work wasn't created yet. This is the worst one, and I was just really afraid of being perceived truly,
Mm.
and it was less sometimes about the work and more so about how people would perceive me on social media. For example, like, are they going to see me as this guy who's acting like a director or a cinematographer, or are they going to see me as an actor, as a director or cinematographer? And I was so nervous about it that I just didn't create for a long time. There were many times where I would go shoot something or direct something or whatever, and I was so scared to share it with the world. I don't know why. I'm getting so much better at it because Anya has really inspired me as a creator that shows vulnerability and weakness. And getting to know her and realizing that, oh, she's not this picture perfect sort of
It's time for the
the
cats
kitty
to eat.
the kitty's running out for the food. Knowing that she's not this like extraordinarily confident person all the time, but that she has vulnerabilities and weaknesses that she can post about, and that she doesn't feel good about all the art she creates. She doesn't feel good about the clothing she makes. And it felt really nice to know that, wow, there are a lot of people that back her. There are a lot of people that care about what she does. There are a lot of people that are so incredibly inspired by her, so much so that they quit their own jobs. They move across the country. They do all these huge moves because of videos that she's made. And yet she's still, and yet she still feels self-conscious about stuff. She still feels like she's not good enough. And it really changed my perspective a lot, because I think the difference in having a conversation with somebody that says that versus spending a lot of time somebody you love that says that, it feels very different. And it really started to change my perspective on artists in general. It made me realize that that's so cute. Dude, he was out here quick too.
He waits for it all day.
Dude, he was literally, it was like 3 seconds and he was there.
Oh yeah,
and he's
and
already
his goes
eating.
off app. He's gonna race to finish his so he can try and go finish his, and I'm probably gonna have to get up and stop him.
And
Well,
that's so funny.
You're talking about something so beautiful. I
Oh
don't wanna
yeah,
keep...
no, that's okay. I think that, like, when it comes to being around a partner though that is incredibly inspiring, it just sort of revitalizes my own life and what I want to be doing. And for Anya, seeing that she still has the same struggles as me, but is a much more well-known artist than me. It just completely reshaped the way I thought about a lot of artists. That was like I think the biggest takeaway, and I really saw that Anya is just genuinely somebody that works really, really hard. There are plenty of people that are just not just as creative as Anya that are not creating anything right now because they're too anxious, they're too nervous, they're too scared to put art into the world, or they might think they're it's like the shadow artist mentality that Julia Cameron mentions, of people that they feel like they're better than everyone else, and they don't create because of that. Like there are so many reasons of why we don't create art or why we don't put out any content.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, ultimately that's what we have to do though, is we have to make art. We have to put it out there. And Anya's really good about that. And as somebody who struggles with like putting art into the world, I've done so many music videos, commercials, and narrative work in general that I've never shared with people because it gets posted somewhere, but I don't personally share it. I don't talk about it. I just kind of run away from it. And it wasn't until like Anya was very, very uplifting in that regard and kept telling me like, Davey, like what the hell? Like you're doing stuff that people are dreaming of doing and you're just poo-pooing it like it's like the like it's this
No.
That's so funny. The scratching.
Albie, let him eat.
But she gave me a lot of that strength in saying like, Davey, what you're doing is really amazing, and there are a lot of people that are dreaming of doing this. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to see that what you're doing is great. And it was it meant a lot coming from somebody like her that she's in a completely different field, but she's an artist, she's a creative, and like she puts herself out there, man. And it's like it's really inspiring to see that even, she has a lot of really amazing work, a lot of really amazing artwork, but even if something is not that great, she's still going to post it.
She's such an inspiration to me. Always, like since the moment I met her, she always has been. Also because we work in the same industry too. So like the what she does and the way that she makes her work, the way she shares it has always been so amazing to me. Because I do feel like, everyone has this narrative in their head about like why it's not worth it for them to share the work that they do. Whether it's what you said about some artists just think they're too good to share, which I don't know if I've met one of them.
Oh, you definitely have.
I probably have.
Yeah, you definitely
But I think even that, like, they don't think that. They say that, and they try to convince everyone else of that, but they probably feel like they don't have, like, no one's going to care about it or something.
Exactly.
But it's always an insecurity. And I think that the magic of being an artist is that your insecurity is your superpower. It's the most ubiquitous thing in the world. Everybody has that. And if you have the bravery to share yourself despite that, or even because of it, then you are the beacon for everyone who sees you who has not been so brave yet, But it's not like you're the only one experiencing it. And I mean, it's a daily struggle. Like I feel that every day. About, I'll spend hours and hours, days and days working on something, and then at the end of it, I'm like, it's not very good. I'm not gonna share this. It doesn't work with the overall image of who I am, my brand or whatever, which is like, I think the worst word you can use.
Oh, for sure.
Because my brand, it should, as an artist, just be me, But yeah, I mean that the imposter syndrome thing, like I don't know if I'm quite there. Like I don't have a very large following on social media or anything. I imagine for Anya, who has affected so many people with her work, that the imposter syndrome probably only grows because there's more and more people that you have to not satisfy, but more and more people who are expecting something from you.
Right.
So the bar just keeps getting higher, even though you're not trying to raise it. but just by the sheer fact that more and more people are following you, the bar gets higher. You put more pressure on yourself, and somehow over and over, she just does it again anyway. Which is like, I mean, it's true magic. It is really like fucking magic, what she does. And I mean, you're doing it too.
I agree, though. I think it's important. It's like tying back to what you talked about earlier about people, I guess your reason for doing what you do. It's like if you're looking for success and not the process, that's kind of a sad way to pursue things in general. And I think there are a lot of people that, because they're just looking after, they're sort of chasing clout or a following in the first place, or chasing a spotlight, it's not sustainable, and they'll probably never get there. And if they do, it's not somebody that you want to get close to or inspire you. I think
it's hollow too.
What they're doing very
has
hollow.
No substance.
Exactly.
So like, they're not doing it for the right reasons. So they're not filling the work with anything that's worth being seen. I mean, I can't say that. That's too judgmental to say. But like, I don't know. I took, my dad told me when I was younger, he always said like, Mickey, you just walk the walk and let other people talk the talk.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't talk the talk for yourself. I think it's a great lesson, but also I do think that maybe I took it a little bit too to heart, because in this world today, you kind of have to pitch yourself. You have to be your own biggest supporter and your own biggest fan in order to, because I don't have a giant team behind me who's going to talk the talk for me.
Right.
So if I can't talk the talk for myself, even
nobody's
to
going
myself, yeah, no one's going to do it.
Right.
Even if I just have to talk the talk to myself alone to rev myself up to share.
And talking the talk comes in so many different forms too. I think that speaking with authenticity and confidence is very important, but to speak beyond that and to a level of sort of fakeness is not going to serve anyone. And there's too much of that on social media, people acting like they're much bigger than they are. That's why Anya, for example, is a really good person to develop the following that she's gotten, because it doesn't affect her at all. Like when you ask her about it, I have to sometimes remind her how many people have seen her, because sometimes she's, when she gets a little bit down at something, like, oh, this isn't really that important, nobody cares. I'm like, Anya, like, you need to see what a crowd of 300,000 people looks like. I show her a picture of like even a third of that at Woodstock in the 1960s, and it's fucking insane. It looks like it's people into your eyes can't see anymore, into the horizon, and that's not even 300,000 people. And I always remind her like how many people are influenced by things that she says, for good or for bad, and that people do always care what she has to say. And it's really, really, really inspiring for me to see her with such a heavy responsibility, and she's still thinking that the same exact thing that you and I are thinking, which is like, what I say doesn't really matter that much. I'm just like another person, and which is really great. It's really inspiring to see that. When people get really big headed, that's the sad thing to see.
Yeah. You're climbing this giant mountain, and you'll keep getting to these, peak after peak, but you gotta keep kind of going back down to the bottom of the mountain, remembering what it was like down there, what the air tasted like down at the bottom.
Dude, for sure. There's a statistical phenomena that's, I can't remember the name of this. We got to look this up later, where it happens again and again and again, where like the person who has started to they've started to become very skillful at something, they start to feel really arrogant, but there's this mountain of knowledge that they're about to hit to realize that they're really nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Once they peak up and over that mountain and reach mastery, they're no longer arrogant, because they realize just how much of a challenge this thing really is.
Yeah.
And you see it again and again and again and again. People who are not really that great at something, or super fucking cocky, and they're so miserable to talk to, and they just think that they're the best of the best, and they are, they're very cagey of their craft, and really hard to talk to. And a lot of masters that you meet, amazing directors, cinematographers, painters, creatives in general, they're so incredibly humble. You look at somebody like Roger Deakins, arguably the best cinematographer of all time, and he's talking about how the frame isn't that important. And he's like, no, it's way more about the actors. It's way more about the performance, the stories. Like, stop talking about my compositions. Like, that shit doesn't matter. I was like, that's so inspiring to see to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. The film industry breeds that in creatives, I think, a lot because, like we were saying before, it's such a collaborative art form that you kind of have no choice but to give everyone else their flowers before you give them to yourself, because it's no one is going to respect what you're doing if everyone else isn't also doing something, because no one's ever going to see it. You have to stand on the shoulders of giants, or whatever it is that line is, in order for anyone to even be able to see your work. It's why like I always am so happy to hear when some actor or some director wins an Oscar or something, and the first thing that they say is like, this is for my gaffer and my grip and my PAs and my producer. Like, every single person on this project made this happen, not me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's I mean, it's just so true. And it's funny because I've always gravitated toward like solitary art forms. I mean, acting is not one. That's like the one catharsis that I get from an art form that is truly collaborative. But other than that, like painting, I do it by myself. Like, it's my me time, and I don't share the work until it's finished.
Yeah, I love that.
The magic of me making it is by myself. But when you have to share the work with all these other artists in order to make your work at all, it humbles you immediately, because you realize that the thing you're making is so much bigger than you could have done alone.
Absolutely, dude.
Every time.
Yeah, it's a crazy experience, especially like working on the TV show has showed me just like the scale difference, and obviously like seeing it what a film or a show would be like was still just so much different than it actually is. Like, being in the experience, and especially still doing it on a budget. We don't have unlimited money yet, but it's still more money than I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
And but I hired over 100 people. It was insane. Like, my crew was like 45 people. My cast.
Are you producing too?
Yeah, I was the main producer. Me and Amaru Cloud, and I did all the casting, because I realized at the time, like, if I had known a casting director personally who would have collaborated with me, it could have worked out. But I just didn't know a casting director who was fit for the job. Is a really, really hard job, because having to cast like over 50 people that were so incredibly specific. They had to be of a certain ethnicity. They had to be from New York, or at least perceived as from New York, because New York has got a very specific sound, when actors try to put that on and they're not super familiar, it's super corny, and people are going to clock that. And these parameters are so little that it was really, really hard to cast these people. And so it took months and months and months and months to cast all the people for this show. And then, once they were cast, and, I was working with them, there's just a lot of moving pieces that I knew were going to be involved, but it's still like, it's just always more than you think. And it was a lot. It was a lot of freaking work, but it felt, to me, it was very rewarding being personally involved, having stake with all these people, because it's also my responsibility now. I can't blame it on a casting director. It's like, if the person sucks on camera, that's fucking my fault.
Yeah, like I chose you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's pretty funny, but yeah, working with that many people was it shifted my perspective a lot. You really, obviously, no film can be made with just one person, but it put into perspective even more just how many people you need to do certain things. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just insane,
Yeah. So when does Ocean Parkway come out?
It finishes. We're gonna have it fully edited in March,
Okay.
and
How many episodes?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 5-episode miniseries.
Sick.
So we'll have to see when it comes out. It's TBD. We're talking to distributors right now.
Are you trying to get it on streaming or like?
Yeah, that's the plan is to be streamed. It was independently financed,
Cool.
and then it'll be taken to a stream raft or.
Sick.
But right now, and this is the secret stuff. So this is just you and me. But
I mean, I don't know the business side of all that stuff. I'm just an artist.
it is, dude. It is pretty convoluted. I've seen like
Oh yeah.
from.
How involved in that are you for this project?
So I've been super involved on the producing side, but on the actual like distribution deal, I'm not very involved with because it's basically just going to be like as soon as the team can secure a deal that gets them sort of a return on their investment, plus whatever new deal structure they want to set up. I mean, it sounds like because I was able to pull every favor I possibly could for the show, because I have so much equipment that I was able to use, and I know so many people that came on and worked on a budget and stuff. I was able to really stretch the budget we were working with to the absolute maximum to make it look a lot more expensive than it really was, and I think that that's really going to pay off.
Yeah.
I took a lot of, I took a massive pay cut. I think that's one of the things that I attribute to any success that I've had in New York at all is like
Is your willingness to
willingness is to not get paid, dude. And people constantly shit on that, and I don't care, dude. Like I think that if you try to make a premium, you're never going to get successful. You're just not going to.
Yeah.
I think that I've met I think that's the biggest, I would say, it's sort of inflated ego thing in the film industry I've seen are rates. People saying, I'm not worth that, so I'm not going to. That's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, it's like, dude, do you want to make art or not?
Yeah, exactly. Like I did that Cardi B Shake It video with Mikey, and like, dude, we made $30
Each?
$30 each, yeah.
At least it was each.
Yeah, each. Yeah, at least each, right? We didn't have to split. But yeah, it barely covered our fucking, I think we got a parking ticket too. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure we lost money overall, but we technically made $30 because we told the directors at the time when we were shooting this that we owned an Arri Alexa, and we didn't own one yet. We owned a Red, which is, was obviously at the time was still a freaking expensive camera. We had a Red Helium and a Red Gemini, but it was not what they were looking for, and we told them we owned an Arri, so that we went and used the money from our rate, which is already not good, and we rented an Arri, so that we still delivered exactly what they said. Didn't even talk about it. They thought we were a like owner operator system where we owned the camera and stuff. Didn't even do that, but we told them that we owned the camera just so we could get the job. And we didn't make any money, but that Cardi B video has gotten me so much work, dude.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was a massive step. And like when you're investing in yourself, like fuck the rate, who cares? We're making art anyways.
Yeah, like this is, if I have enough, if I can make enough to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, I'm not trying to get a Porsche.
And yeah, exactly, dude. And sometimes there were even times where it didn't really feel like a good financial decision, I will say. Like there were times where me and Mikey were definitely like, we really need to make like rent payments, and we didn't do that.
Totally.
But there were some people that would say like, okay, I'm gonna say no to this because I have to make my rent. But we were both willing to go into debt, so we did some kind of stupid financial things, and like didn't charge when we should have. Yeah. But ultimately, I think that that's probably the most important thing for getting new work. If you get a roster of clients, even if you work for free, ultimately the work speaks for itself. And if your work is really fucking good, and then the next thing they have, they're going to pay you money. They're going to. They're absolutely going to.
Especially if you did them that favor the first time.
Yeah, if you did them a favor, and yeah, they might not give you your massive premium that you ask for, but if your work really was good, they're going to pay you again. Like they're going to. And that's what happened so many times is me and Mikey did free work, and then later we got, a couple $100 or maybe $1,000 instead of like the 3,000 or whatever that we wanted.
Yeah.
But it's like, who cares, dude? We're out here making movies anyways. That's fun. So I'm not trying to make, $5 million.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pay my rent. And if we can really pay our rent in New York, making art, that's the craziest shit ever.
I mean, yeah, it's
you having a
absolutely the
gallery
dream.
and selling paintings to people. Like people go like they walk into the gallery and say, "I want to pay for this piece of art that this man made."
Dude,
Insanely inspiring.
That was like the greatest. One of the things that was so magical about 368 was that opportunity for me as an artist to like get to, because I like turned the front of 368 into a gallery for like a couple months in exchange for all of my free labor to like do all the work day in and day out, sand the floors, build the walls, paint everything, and like turn this space into what it was for a little while. I got to put up a show in freaking downtown Manhattan, and like to anyone else, it looks like I just am an artist who has a gallery in downtown Manhattan. But behind closed doors, I fucking built that shit for free.
Yeah.
From the kindness of Paul to like let me use his space and my free labor to like do something with it for myself. But that's the magic of the art community in this damn city. It's so collaborative. Everybody wants to be a part of art here. No one's, not no one, but most people that we know, that we care about and respect, they don't care about the money and the fame and the whatever. They just want to be a part of something that matters.
Exactly. Even if their name is not on it, even if they're not in the spotlight.
Yeah, just to get to help you make something beautiful and know that I got to spend my time helping something beautiful get made. Like that's the dream, And then, you start to get older and Sarah and I are thinking about kids in the future, and then you start to have to go like, all right, well, I don't know how to do what I'm doing now and also have a kid. So like I'm going to have to start charging more for some things and like start taking myself.
You start making sacrifices too.
Yeah, but as long as you can maintain like the core of that artistic integrity, I think you can make it work,
For sure.
I'd be so much happier doing what I love day in and day out, living in an RV with my wife and my kid, than living in like a beautiful home and not being able to do what I love because I have to pay for it.
Autonomy is everything as an artist.
Just as a person.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to be indebted to some bank so I can so what? So I can be stressed every single day about how I wasted another day doing something I hate just so I can have a nicer car or like a bigger house or
right.
whatever. Like I don't need that. I want every day to be worth it.
Give me the peanut shell apartment.
Yeah, give me the peanut shell apartment. And maybe 2 peanut shells worth of an apartment once I have a kid, but I'm grateful, man. We should probably wrap this up soon, but what is like, if you had to give advice to some up and coming artists that are trying to get to where you are now, and obviously you're still trying to get to where you want to be, but where you are now, like what is some advice that you would want to give to some people who said like, hey Davey, how the hell do I do this? What's the important thing?
It would be like what I said earlier. Art has never done its due, and set a deadline or it'll never get done. And I speak from experience of somebody that I finally, I'm happy that I've made some stuff and I'm continuing to make stuff, and I'm happy that I'm doing that. But for a lot of time, I was really nervous about doing the next thing. And if I would have just set deadlines and said, this has to be done for myself, exactly like if I was at a 9-to-5 and somebody was telling me to work for them, that's how you should approach yourself. If you'll do it for somebody else, you should do it for yourself. It's extremely important. And so if you set deadlines, and not this gross bureaucratic corporate type of deadline where you are stressed about it, but just setting a calendar for yourself to keep yourself motivated. There's nothing in life more important than that, because even if the film is bad, if the due date is the due date, you'll get it done, and it'll make you better. It'll make you a better filmmaker. It'll make you a better creative. And then past that, it's collaborating with people, not thinking that you're the best. It's just thinking that these are people who are equally excited about something, that are going to make something with you. It'll make you create more. And ultimately, creating more things is what's going to make you a better artist. And that applies to every single medium ever.
Yeah.
Collaboration, I think, excites people. It excites me, makes me realize that there are so many amazing people around me, and I should take advantage of that, you know?
Yeah. I feel like, you know, art is one of those things where, like, you can call yourself an artist as much as you want, but you're not one unless you're doing it.
Right.
You know, for money, sure. Sharing it with the world, sure. But doing it even just for yourself. Like, it's one of those things where you have to just do it. And if you do it every day, then you are that.
Absolutely.
You know, no one can take that from you.
It's not about the money at all. You can be an artist and work at Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, and many people are.
Exactly.
You know,
and you should continue to create. If you have a 9-to-5 or anything, and it's really hard to create outside of your 9-to-5, I did it for a while. It's like, you just got to do it. It's very, 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 very important to continue to create, if it's about the money, it's probably not the thing for you. That's why I said earlier, like, you got to take free work, man. Free work is like an opportunity. You got to get your reps. You got to get your portfolio, your website A game. Nobody's going to hire you and pay you money. What a luxury to say that you have a rate and you have no fucking work, or your work is shit. Like, get out of here. Nobody's going to hire you. Nobody cares. Like, I know incredible DPs who are out of work. So if you're not an incredible DP and you're trying, do not try to make industry standard rate. I hear this shit all the time. Industry standard rates. Okay, you're not industry standard. Your work is not good yet. Yeah. Keep working for free or for very little amounts of money until you're good enough.
Yeah.
That's what I always say, is like, I still see DPs who are phenomenal, directors who are phenomenal, who have done huge work, and they're still doing free stuff for people.
Yeah.
All the time.
What's the walk thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, my work is going to be good because I put everything into it.
100%.
Not because you paid me a certain rate. That's not the quality of my work.
Dude, I would still, like, any day now, if somebody comes to me and there's like a cool project, like a short film or something, and I can collaborate, I don't care if I'm a director or DP, I'll just come help out. But if there's like a cool opportunity and I feel like it can help me grow as a creative, like, I'm doing that shit for free.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be, you know?
Davey, tell everyone where they can find you, where they can see your work.
Yeah,
and
just
all that kind of stuff. What's going
on Instagram,
next?
Davey_Robinson. That's in my website, and everything will be there too. But Davey_Robinson on Instagram.
Hell yeah. And go watch Gary's No Good Day.
That's so funny. Don't watch Gary's No Good Day. That's so funny. Ocean Parkway coming soon.
Hell yeah. Ocean Parkway coming soon.
Yeah.
Davey, I love you, man.
Dude, I love you too, man.
Thank you.